Welcome to Cavaletto Studios. I'm Chris. Today we will use a foam roller to warm up the body for a few yoga asanas. After rolling the upper back, glutes, quads, and calves, you will notice how much easier it is to go into some common yoga postures, finishing up with a focused, gentle roller massage of the neck. So let's get started. Let's begin with the upper back. We're going to roll the upper back, shoulder blade areas and getting into the armpits to help our mobility of our shoulders. So we're going to lean back on the upper back, on those shoulder blades, the thoracic spine. Bring your fingertips behind your ears, but not interlace because then we crank on our neck. So we want to keep the elbows nice and wide. Lift the hips and let's roll to the top and the bottom of those shoulder blades. You might get a nice chiropractic adjustment. Make sure you can breathe. A couple more times. Just loosening things up. Then find the middle of your shoulder blades and lower your hips. We're going to drop our knees to the left, and we're going to roll into the left armpit and shoulder blade, but keep the elbow off the floor and both elbows stay wide as you gently rock from the armpit back into the shoulder blade. So elbows are staying wide. Just notice if you have any tender spots there. And then your top right leg, pull the knee up and place that foot on the floor. Just give yourself a little more leverage. And now roll yourself forward and back so you're massaging into that shoulder blade, armpit area. You're kind of leaning forward towards that left side. So you can really get into it. You can lift your hips off the floor if your body can handle it. If it's too intense, just do a smaller movement and not lift those hips. Then we're going to lower the hips, scoot your body towards the front of your mat and bring your elbow on top of the roller. And then bring the back of your hand towards the floor behind you. So you're in an L position. Take your top right arm, hold your head. Actually, even bend your, we're going to change that. You're going to hold your head with the left hand, the one that's on the roller. And then you're going to roll your chest forward towards that arm on the roller, and then bring it back. So you're supporting the neck, keeping your right foot flat, knee is up. You're getting a little bit of a twist through the torso as you're massaging the back of that shoulder and the arm. To make sure your elbow is not hanging off the back of the roller, pull it in nice and tight. So almost like you're pulling your left elbow towards your chest and your chest towards the inner part of the upper arm. Couple more rock and rolls, pushing into it. Keep your elbow right where it is on the roller. Rotate backwards onto your shoulder blades. So now both arms nice and wide again. Feet flat on the floor, and then shift your hips slightly so you can roll onto your right hip and the right knees. And then you're going to roll gently towards the right shoulder blade and armpit. The elbows stay wide. The right elbow's going behind the roller but not to the floor. And you're doing a gentle rock again towards the armpit and then towards the shoulder blade. So you're rocking side to side on that right hip, getting into that right shoulder blade. So we're just going to get right to it here. So then when we do our yoga, we can really stretch. Those areas get deeper into the postures. One more. Now take your top left leg, pull the knee up, place the foot on the floor, pull your left arm right on top of that roller. Maybe scoot yourself forward a little bit more. Place your right hand under your head for support and then lean forward and backwards towards that arm. Remember, you are tucking it in. I'm going to turn around just so you can see here. So remember, your arm, you're really high up on that shoulder. The arm is holding your head and you're rolling side to side, so you're getting into the upper arm and that back of that shoulder. The elbow is not hanging off the back. It's pressed down, almost pulling towards your chest. One more. Keeping that knee up so you get a nice twist through the torso. Then we can open it back up. Both knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Slide your body just up a little bit so you can curve your body a little deeper over that roller. You're holding the head so your neck doesn't get strained and your hips are on the floor. Now, option here to straighten out those legs. Take a couple deep breaths here. If you really want to expand through the rib cage, help with your breathing, your pranayama, increasing the lung capacity that we have. One more breath. And then slowly lift your head, bring your forearms to the roller, and sit yourself all the way up. From here, we're going to move on up, sit on the roller, and we're going to move to glutes. We're going to roll the butt. So whichever way you're angled is fine. I'm going to start on the right just because I'm here. So whether you're on the right or left, bring that hand behind you. So if you're on the right butt cheek, you're on the right hand, and the right knee is bent, and the left, and you roll from the top to the bottom of that butt cheek. So we're massaging out the fascia tissue. It's a connective tissue that can restrict some of our movements if you find those speed bumps in that glute. That's a little bit of a restricted area, and the nerve endings go through our fascia tissue, so it will inhibit us being more mobile if there's that stuck tissue. So this is helping soften it, getting hydration and mobility into that area. One more roll. Then you're going to take that right ankle, let's cross it over the left thigh, flex your right ankle, and roll again. And really open up that knee all the way to the top and the bottom. If you find a trigger point, just pause on it and pull that knee up and down. If your wrist gets tired, you can always go to your knuckles or all the way to your elbow. And then continue to roll to the top and the bottom of that glute. One more. We're going to get a little bit deeper, so we're going to drop everyone to the elbow. Left knee stays bent, and we're going to straighten out that right leg. Find the middle of your glute. Turn slightly to your side, whatever side you're on, and then move a little higher up on that glute, on that roller, and now pull that leg in and out, the straight leg, whatever leg you're leaning on. So I'm on the right, so I'm pulling the right leg in and out. Getting into those upper glute muscles, getting our range of motion up, and then pull that knee into the chest. Use your opposite hand to give it a squeeze, and then tight, pull it across your body and give it a good stretch. And then we're going to release that leg. And go ahead and just lean to the opposite side. I'm going to pivot around here. So we're going to go to the other butt cheek, and we're going to roll from the top to the bottom of that glute. So now you're leaning on one arm, the same side that you are rolling. So I'm on the left, and I'm using my feet to push myself forward and back. Again, you can go onto your knuckles, you can go onto your elbow, if that feels better for your shoulder or your wrist. One more roll, getting all the way down towards those sits bones. It can be a little sensitive down by the bones down there, or up high into that glute minimus and medius. And then we're going to find the middle of that glute, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, flex that foot. If you're on the left side, you would cross the left leg. And roll again. Keeping that knee open. If you find a trigger point, pause on it, move that knee up and down. And then keep it open, roll forward and back. Anybody finding any spots in there? Tender spots? Can change from day to day, depending on your hydration level, your activity level. One more. Then from here, we're going to drop all the way to our elbow. And the leg that you're leaning on, I want you to straighten it out all the way. So the opposite leg, the knee is bent, the foot is flat on the floor. Move yourself forward so the roller goes to the top of that glute. Lean yourself just slightly towards the side, and then pull that knee in and out. In and out. That can be a little tender sometimes in that area. Maybe you're good. Maybe it just feels really good. One more. Now we're going to pull that knee in towards the chest. We're going to hold the knee with the opposite hand and try to pull it across. Maybe bring your foot across the thigh again. Just give it a nice stretch there. And then we're going to release. Now we're going to flip onto an elbow plank here, and we're going to roll the thighs. So you're going to come onto your hands and knees and then drop to your elbows. Bring the roller right above your knees. So the roller's not hitting your kneecaps. You're just above that above the knees. And then you're going to relax your feet and your legs and roll yourself forward and back 1 inch. Your legs are probably about hip distance apart. And just a slight little bit of a move forward and back about 1 inch. Try not to put any pressure on the shoulders. You're not letting your back sag. You want to really engage that core. Focus there. And then walk your elbows back 1 inch so that roller moves up the thigh 1 inch. And then just continue forward and back. We're going to continue this walking back 1 inch at a time and then forward and back. So we move that roller gradually up the thigh muscles. And that fascia tissue, that connective tissue that connects from the knees all the way up into our hips. And that can really inhibit our rotation if it's tight in there. Continue walking the elbows back, forward and back. And when you go forward and back with that foam roller, you're doing, it can average from like 4, 6 to 10 times. It depends on what you have going on. If it's super sensitive, just do like 4 and then move on. It's always good to stretch the body after you get some foam rolling done. So we're going to go through all the different major parts of the body, and then we're going to do some yoga and really stretch and see how we feel in our postures. And a little bit higher. Getting to the top. Once you get to the top, we're going to foam roll the quads twice, just because I want to do it 2 different ways, because the quads have, it's just such a big area and it has such a big impact on our knees and our hips. So once you get to the top of those thighs, we're going to start out with one of our yoga postures, child's pose. Knees apart, feet together. Use your roller. Bring your arms in front and then lower your body between your thighs and your head towards the floor. So here we're stretching out through the armpits, the low back, the thighs, over the knees. And we're breathing. And you want this to feel good. One more breath. And then we'll come all the way back up. Now we're going to do the quads one more time. So here we want to go back onto our elbows. Bring the roller again back up above the knees. And this time we're going to take those feet a little bit wider than the hips. And then you're going to bend the knees and you're going to rock your feet side to side. So just getting a little bit of a hip mobility here as we massage out those thighs. Then you find the middle and you walk your elbows back 1 inch. So the same thing, moving up the thighs slowly, and then keep the knees bent and rock them side to side. And again, if this is too intense, then don't bend the knees. You can always keep them straight, move them up a little higher, and then rock side to side. Just notice what's going on in those thighs. If you find a spot, you can always like circle that leg. One leg might be tighter than the other. Again, walk it back a little more. Rocking those legs side to side. It's great way to get to the outer edge of that front of that thigh. Gets pretty tight there, especially when we get towards the top. Rocking them. Almost there. And then once you get to the top, you can straighten out your legs, tuck your toes onto the floor, pull your belly in, do a little bit of a belly pull, and then slide off the back of the roller. And we're going to do we're going to flip around onto our bottoms. We're going to sit. We're going to get into quads a little bit later, stretch them a little deeper all the way into the hips. But we'll get there with our yoga practice. So we're going to sit and we're going to bring that roller right in front of us. So we're going to move on to calf muscles, bottoms of the legs. So I'm going to bring that roller right in the middle of the lower half of my right leg. You can start with whatever leg you want. If you have trouble lifting yourself off the floor, you can bend and straighten. But we're just going to be doing a quick roll here, a quick massage to loosen up those calf muscles. It'll help us get deeper into our postures. So just rolling from lifting your hips, using your arms to lift you up, roll to the top of the calf to the bottom of the calf. So the ankle to right below that knee. And then you can also turn your body slightly to the left and roll the inside edge of that right leg. And tilt your body to the right and roll the inside edge of the right leg. If you find a knot or a tender spot, just pause on it and rotate the ankle both directions. And then we'll go to the other leg. So middle lower part, we're going to lift the body and roll to the front and back. And again, if you're just doing bending and straightening, not lifting your arms off, that is totally fine. You can also do it laying on your back, and that works as well. You just move that roller up and down a little bit. You gradually move it. Rotate that ankle if you find a spot, and then tilt your body slightly to the right so you can get the inside edge of that left leg. This is a great warm up as well for your core. You're having to use your arms and your core. And then tilt your body to the left and go the outside edge of that calf. So you can bend and straighten with your hips off the floor, but you're going to get a little more range of motion if you slide your hips forward and back. And it works your arms and your core. Bonus! And any knots, you can always lower your hips and you can circle. Excellent. Now we're going to release there. Go ahead and turn your roller longwise. So we have another one we're going to do just to help us get deeper into our yoga postures and then help out the wrists and the forearms when you go into down dog. So with your roller straight out in front of you, you're on your knees. You can have your toes tucked or untucked, whatever feels good to you. You're going to place your right forearm on that roller with the palm up, and then just cross your left arm over and do a little pressure and roll it side to side. So you're really rolling out that forearm. One more, and then turn your palm down, roll forward and back. And then we're going to go a little deeper into that same arm. Right palm comes back up. Place your left hand across the roller on that right side. So you're kind of doing a twist, and I want you to sink into it. So you're rolling and pressing that arm a little deeper. So getting a little stretch through the shoulder. You're rolling the forearm, but you can go above the elbow, getting a little into that tricep. You probably won't get very far because the other arm is on the floor and you probably can't twist that far. Some of you might be able to twist further than others. That's okay. Just getting the top right above that elbow. Then you're going to release and we're going to do the other side. So you're going to place your left palm up, forearm on the thigh, cross your right arm on top. So you got that forearm on that roller, and you're going to slide side to side. So you're massaging from the wrist to the elbow right on top of that roller. One more. And then turn your palm down and massage the bottom of the forearm. Then we're going to turn the wrist back up, palm up. Place your right hand on the outside edge and see if you can do a little bit of a slide through, like threading the needle in yoga, and go right above that elbow. So forearm to right above the elbow. So it might be a little tender there, or maybe not. Finding out if you got something going on. Couple more. Slide it through. Get a little bit of a twist going. And then we'll release back to neutral. So you're going to slide your heels, hips to heels. Turn your roller back in front of you. So now we're going to get a little deeper into some of these areas and postures of stretching, but we're going to use the foam roller. So knees apart, feet together. First thing you're going to do is hold to the outside edges of your roller, and then we're going to roll down as close to the floor as we can get the belly between the thighs, lower your head towards the floor. So you're stretching right up through those armpits, through the shoulders, maybe a little biceps, and just breathe here. Inhale and exhale, so you're stretching over the knees, the low back. Now from here, you're going to lift just your upper body so you can look forward at that roller. Bring your left hand in the middle of the roller. Take your right hand, you're going to turn the palm up, and you're going to thread it underneath on the floor, palm is up, underneath that left arm. And you're going to rotate down, but keep your left arm on that roller and really melt to the floor. So now you're getting a shoulder stretch on that right shoulder and a left armpit stretch. And wiggle those fingers. The right fingers on the floor. And smile. Try to keep your hips level. And we're breathing. And then from here, you're slowly going to press the palm into the roller. Lift yourself up. Place your right hand on the middle of the roller, and then now take the left palm. It's up, it's sliding under the right along the floor, lowering to your left shoulder. Let your head rest on the floor if you can, and really straighten out the right arm on that roller. Reach it, and now wiggle the left fingers on the floor. So you're stretching out through the shoulder, the armpit. Maybe you're getting deeper into your postures here, or at least getting a good stretch. And then slowly come up and release. Hopefully that feels really good. All right, we're going to keep that roller close to our knees. We're going to spread out the fingers and come to tabletop. Walk your knees in about hip distance apart. You can, again, keep the roller somewhat close to the knees. Open the fingers wide, thumbs face each other. Tuck the toes under. There goes my roller again. And then lift up all the way to downward facing dog. And then you're going to pedal out your feet. Walk your dog. It's okay. It doesn't matter where your roller is, as long as it's between your feet and your hands. Pedal out those feet. Shift your hips. Just feel that nice stretch through the calf muscles, through the hamstrings, through the hips, maybe even through those arms. Now you're going to roll that roller, use your feet or however you want, a little bit closer to your hands. Start to walk your right foot as close to the roller as you can get it. Maybe kick it forward, and then bring your hands to the roller. Bring your hands up onto the roller. And then walk it maybe a little bit further forward, and you can bring your right foot forward again. So you're really in a lunge here, but a supported lunge. Bring your back left foot slightly out to the side and lower your heel to the floor. So you're prepping for a warrior one. So we're going to be coming up. Use the weight in the front leg, push through your heel, slowly come up to warrior one. Left foot is outer edge planted into the floor. Draw the arms up. Now, option to have the thumbs to the back, or maybe even interlace the fingers, pressing the biceps into the ears. Take your time, bring it up, bend into the front knee, that front right knee. Make sure you can see your big toe. Good. Now, when you're here, I want you to shift your hips gently side to side. Just sway. Just notice what's going on in the hips, the calf, and then also notice the hips. Are they rotated to the left? Rotate both hips to the front of your mat as you rock side to side. You might be able to go a little deeper into your posture. And breathe. One more breath. And then we're going to exhale. Bring the hands all the way back down to your roller. We're just going to do a quick little change here. I want you to pull your left foot in, step that right foot back, out to the side, slight little curve. So pushing into the right outer edge of that foot, push into your left foot, come up to warrior one on the other side. Bending into that left front knee. Option to have the arms apart or together. Right outer edge of your foot, press into the floor. Now move your hips side to side. Notice the difference on this side. Maybe your back heel can get down to the floor a little easier. Maybe the other side was. And then make sure both hips are rotated. So your right back hip is pushing to the front of the mat. Your hips are level. Think headlights of the car. And breathe. Holding this posture, one more breath. And then slowly bring your hands back down to that roller. Good, now bring both feet together towards your roller. So you're in a forward fold. Just feel that nice little hamstring, hip stretch, back stretch. And then you're going to take your left foot all the way back. I want you to lower your left knee to the floor. And then untuck that toe. Now, option here, you're going to walk your right foot to the outside edge, towards the outside edge of your mat, and then you're going to lower your forearms towards the roller. Just do the best you can. If it's too much intensity for that hip, you don't have to bring it down. But we want to really stretch through that hip flexor. I'm going to give you an option. So our right knee is forward, and make sure your right knee is over your ankle. You never want to be where your heel is coming off the floor. That's too much pressure on that knee. So just let that leg fall open. You can even have the outside of your edge of your foot on the floor. So your left forearm is on the roller. Option to reach your right arm behind you and bend that left knee. And you can even grab hold of the knee. I mean the foot, not the knee. So you're holding on to your left foot with your right hand. Now optional. Really stretching through that quad. I told you we'd get a good stretch for the quad. Just breathe here. And then we're going to release the foot. Walk your hands back up on that roller. Bring your right foot back. Let's take a child's pose here and just pause in case you've got some stuff going on. Both hands wide on the roller. Lower the belly to the thigh and head to the floor and pause. Then we're slowly coming up. Bring the hands back to that roller. Now we're going to repeat the other side. So this time, walk that roller forward. Slide your left foot as far forward as you comfortably can. So you can come into a nice low lunge. And then walk your left foot out to the side, towards the side of the mat. So you can really let that left knee drop open. So these are just some great stretches to help you get deeper into your postures, or just even if you play sports or you're active, or even if you're not active, we need to keep our hip mobility up. So this is key. Option to drop the elbows towards the roller, or you can stay up where you are. I just give options. Another option to keep that right arm on the roller and maybe bend that right knee. option, take your left arm behind and grab hold of that foot. And make sure again that your left knee is over your ankle and that you cannot lift your heel. You don't want to really be able to, you can kind of do a little bit, but you want to make sure you can lift the toes off the floor. Feel that nice quad stretch. One quad might be tighter than the other. And just breathe. If you can't reach your foot, then just practice getting that hip flexor stretch. That is totally fine. And then we're going to release. Bring the hands back to that roller and slide that left knee back. Bring both knees together and we're going to tuck the toes. So you can sit your hips back on your heels and really get a stretch in the ankles. Bring that roller all the way up to your knees. And then bring your hands in front of the roller. Place them on the floor nice and firm. And then lift yourself back up to that downward facing dog. Now your legs are nice and close. So we're going to pedal them out really close together. Get more of a hip shift, shift and turn. Then we're going to try sliding that roller out of your way to the side. We're going to do one more standing posture. We're going to lift the right leg up. And we're going to reach it between that right foot, between the hands. Pivot onto your left foot. Windmill the arms to warrior two. So come all the way up. Open up that right knee. You got this. Make sure your knee is over your ankle, not your toes. And the knee is opening up to the right. Extend those arms. Look forward and over your fingertips. Stretching. Good. Right palm up. Let's reverse warrior. Slide it back. Look either forward or up at your hand. And then bring that forearm to the thigh. Left arm over your ear or to the sky. Really open up the side of the body. Remember, pull those shoulders away from the ears. So we are stretching everything. Now you're going to take your left hand all the way back to the floor. Step back to plank. Nice and strong. Shift to your downward facing dog. Relax your shoulders and then bring that left leg up. Bend the knee. Let's bring it between the hands. Pivot onto your back right foot. Windmill it up to warrior two. Good. Make sure your left knee is over your ankle. You can see your big toe and it's pulling open to the left. Draw the shoulders down and back. Looking over those left fingers, palm up. Reverse your warrior. Sliding it up. Breathing through it. Noticing the difference on this side. And then take your front arm, lower it to the shin or the thigh, and reach your right arm overhead or to the sky. And just breathe. Notice the difference. It's a little easier to get into these after foam rolling. And then bring your right hand all the way to the floor. Step back to the plank. And then shift to your downward facing dog. Now a couple options here. If you have trouble getting into pigeon, you can use the roller. So one option is just to slide your right knee forward and slide into pigeon. Another great one I'm going to show you with the roller, if you want, is you can sit on that right hip on the roller and bring that right knee in front and the left leg behind you. You can get a pigeon stretch on that roller. If that is super challenging, there is one other option you can do with the roller. You can turn it longwise and you can sit on the roller longwise. So just the right leg is on it and lean forward that way as well. Kind of gets you a little bit of a foam roll massage as well as stretching things out. So again, it depends on where you are in your mobility of your hips, hamstrings, quads, everything. Try to play around with whichever one you want. One more breath here. And of course, you can always do reclining pigeon if your knees don't like bending that way, which we're not going to go into today on this. Then we're going to slowly release, come back up, step back into plank. Nice and strong. Shift to your downward facing dog. And we're just going to go up onto the toes, back into the heels, and then draw that left leg up and find your pigeon again. So then left knee to left hand, right leg back. And again, you've got the option, if you want to use the roller, sit with your left hip on it. We're going through these a little quickly. You can always come back and try them again. Left knee is bent in front, right leg is back, and you can drop down, if that's one option. And the other one, and maybe one leg or one hip or one knee is tighter. Option, sit on the roller with your left thigh totally on the roller and your left glute, and the knee is bent. So this is a great way to protect the knee as well, and then you can just lower down. It's a great hamstring stretch, and then try to straighten out the right leg behind you. So that's another one. You can even rock on it. Just fun ideas to play around with that roller, or you can sit all the way down. Almost there. And then we're going to slowly, once you're done, if you're on the roller, we're going to slide off the roller. We're going to actually bring the feet in front of us. And just have your roller right next to you. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're just going to check in with the body. It's kind of like, whoo. It's a little bit of a mini warm-up more than a workout. Let's inhale the arms up. And then exhale, forward fold. Check out your reach. See how that feels. Rotating through the hips, keeping the spine long. You can either reach for your knees, your ankles, your toes, whatever works for you, and really lengthen through the spine here. And then let your head start to rotate or fall towards the floor, getting a little gravity assist. And then we're going to inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Exhale the arms out. So we're going to do one more glute stretch, which is always nice after foam rolling. So you're going to bend slightly that right knee. Slide your left leg under the right thigh, nice and tight. And then you're going to pull your right knee in close to the shin or to the outside of the thigh. And let's hug that knee into the chest. Now that right arm is going to go behind us as a kickstand. And let's do a little twist. I'm going to lift through the base of the spine and then rotate to the right. Look behind you to the right. Really feeling that glute and hip stretch. And maybe you can twist a little further because you're nice and warm because of the rolling. So when we twist and we hold these different stretching positions and postures, we are hydrating that tissue. So this is a good thing. This is so good for the body. It helps keep our health up, helps keep our mobility. Go ahead and release and do a counter stretch. So you're just going to twist to the opposite side. Bring that shoulder on the inside of the right knee. And then we're going to come back to center. We're going to unwind. We're going to straighten out those legs, sit up nice and tall. You're going to slightly bend that left knee. And this time we're going to pull the right foot underneath that thigh, nice and tight. Don't come off your butt cheeks. Keep the glutes down and just pull that left knee into the chest, either on the front side of the shin. If your leg goes across, great. If you have to come off your glute, then keep it in the front. Don't go across. Everybody's a little different. This is not a judgment thing. This is about listening to your body and what feels good to you. You're just going to hug the knee and lift through the spine and then twist to your left. And just notice that stretch through the glute, the hip. Maybe you can twist a little further. Sometimes we jump into things. It's like, oh, my body doesn't want to move that way. And maybe it does move better. Highly recommend foam rolling even before you jump into a basic yoga practice. It's just a nice way to get the body moving and warm up that tissue. Get the blood flowing. We're going to counter stretch. Take the left arm, bring it on the inside of that left knee, twist to the right. You can use that right hand as a kickstand. And then we're coming all the way back to the center. We're going to straighten out those legs again. So from here, we're going to take that roller, we're going to bring it behind us. We have one more place to go, and I want to make sure we get the neck and the head. After yoga, the neck and the head is a great place to go to just release any extra tension, especially if you've done a lot of down dogs or chaturangas or push-ups or headstands. You want to just loosen things up. And you also can do this before you do yoga as well. Today we are doing it after. So I want you to move that roller actually a little bit closer to your back, so it's more on the neck, but I want you to turn your head to the left side. So the roller's not technically on your cervical vertebrae, it's more on the muscles, on the side of your vertebrae. And then so it's right below the occipital bone, the base of your skull on the left side, and just draw a nod your head, yes, or draw the chin up and down. So you're really massaging the muscles there. And you can also draw the head side to side, like you're saying no. You're not on the very side of your neck because your ear should not be touching the roller. We're keeping it more to the very side of the vertebrae. And then we're going to do the opposite side. So do the right. So kind of lift the head a little as you rotate to the right side. Again, on the edge of the vertebrae, not hitting the vertebrae. And just a little nod, yes. And a little nod, no. Getting into the muscles there and that tissue that attaches up into the base of the skull. Then after that, we're going to hold the outside edge of the roller, and now we're going to move it higher up. So your head is facing neutral, like looking up at the ceiling or between your knees. Feet are flat, knees are bent. Bring the roller up so it doesn't touch your vertebrae at all, and it's just on the back of your skull. And then turn your head to the left. So you turn it, so now your ear is touching the roller, and you want to nod yes. So you're getting the base of the skull in that occipital bone. And then nod no. Yes and no. And then we're going to take it to the opposite side. So let's go to the right. A little higher up so the back of your ear is hitting that roller. A little nod yes. You're also getting a nice stretch in the back of the neck here. And a little no. Yes and no. And then bring your head back to the middle, this time even higher up on your head. So this time I want you to look up at the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. Bring that roller in the middle, arms are on the outside edge, and then rock your head to the left side. So now your ear is below the roller. And nod no and yes. And then rock it through the center to the other side and nod no and yes. If you have a ponytail, it might be getting in the way, so just adjust. And then back to center, looking up at the ceiling, that roller's in the middle of the back of your head, and then draw your chin down so you get a back of your neck stretch. And then lift your head to neutral. Good. And then bring the roller a little closer so you can really rest your head comfortably on that roller. And then we're going to straighten out the legs all the way down. And then you're going to use your hands to roll the roller out behind you, up above your head. And put your hands, the back of your hands on the roller. So you're reaching the arms overhead, and you're reaching your feet towards the front of the mat. So a full body stretch. Really, really reach it. And then let everything relax. Let your legs fall open, and then go ahead and bring your hands down next to your body. Walk your shoulders away from the ears, and just feel how your head connects to the earth, how your hips, your back, your heels, your calves, everything is connecting. Take a deep breath in, and then slowly let it out. And then bend your knees, walk your feet in toward your hips, and then let's hug the knees into the chest. Give it a little rock side to side. We got one last little stretch for you just to bring it all together. So bring your arms out to a T. Knees are still pulled into the chest, and drop both knees to your right and look to the left. A little twist here. You can have your arms straight, or you can even have them bent like cactus arms. And then bring your head to neutral. Pull the belly in as you lift the knees up and across, and all the way to the opposite side. So dropping your left knees, both knees to your left, and look to your right. Both shoulders stay on the floor. Nice little twist. And then bring your head to neutral. Hug your knees into your chest. Option to roll to your side, or you can roll straight up. Sitting up nice and tall. Find an easy seat. Let's align the shoulders over under the ears and the shoulders over the hips. I had to think about that one. Palms resting on the thighs, chin tucked in and aligned. Notice how you feel. Maybe you feel alive and more awake, and maybe you want to do more yoga postures. But you're all foam rolled and ready to go. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, palms to heart space. Thank you so much for joining today. Namaste.